We will embrace all of the principles that made America great, and we will apply them to the unique challenges of this new century. And when our work is done, here is what history will say of this generation. It will say that we lived in the early years of this new century in an uncertain and difficult time. But we remembered who we were. We rose up to the challenge of our time. We confronted our problems and we solved them. And because we did, the American dream didn't just survive, it reached more people and changed more lives than ever before. Because we did, our children and our grandchildren grew up to be the freest and the most prosperous Americans that ever lived. Because we did what needed to be done. The 21st century wasn't just as good as the 20th century. It was better. It was a new American century.
That was a fired-up Senator Marco Rubio sharing a passionate speech tonight that ran roughly 15 minutes without notes or teleprompter. Maybe there were notes. There was definitely not a teleprompter, as he celebrated a much stronger than expected showing here in Iowa. Alex Conan is the communications director for Senator Rubio's presidential campaign. He joins me now. Alex, congratulations on your better than expected finish. How do you think you did it?
It's a big night for us, Megan. We did it because we made Marco front and center in this campaign. He had a ton of speaking time at the Fox debate last week, as you know, and people saw what he's offering the American people. This optimistic message that we can make the 21st century a new American century. That's what he's been doing every day on the campaign trail here in Iowa for the last couple of weeks, and it connected with voters. People want ideas. They want solutions, as Dr. Krauthammer was saying in the previous segment. They know that we have challenges, but they want solutions. That's what Marco is offering in this campaign, and voters responded in a tremendous way here in Iowa over the last few days.
What do you make of the fact that, looking at the exit polls, or the entrance polls, as we call them in the caucuses, the voters who decided over the last few days they broke for Marco Rubio. He got 29%. Ted Cruz got 24%. Donald Trump got 14%. Nobody else put any meaningful points on the board. How did he do that? What happened over the last 3 days?
We just put Marco up front and center. He worked really hard the last couple of days trying to meet as many voters as he could and talk to them about his ideas for the future. We also had a fantastic ground game here on the ground, made hundreds of thousands of voter contacts in recent weeks. We knew who our voters were. We turned them out. We've got the same operation in New Hampshire, South Carolina, and beyond. We're the only state, Megan, we're the only campaign, Megan, that is organized in all 50 states around the country. We don't expect that this is going to end anytime soon. We're ready for the long haul. We're really excited coming out of Iowa with a lot of momentum.
What do you expect is going to happen in New Hampshire? Because Trump is up, I mean, by the latest poll, I think it was 28 points over his next nearest competitor there.
Well, as Dr. Krauthammer said, it's a three-person race now. Either Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, or Marco Rubio is going to be the Republican nominee. So if you don't want Cruz or you don't want Trump, it's time to vote for Marco Rubio. And when we nominate Marco Rubio, he's going to unite the Republican Party. He's the only candidate that's able to unite the Republican Party, and then we're going to beat Hillary Clinton. And I think a lot of voters chose Marco in the final days because they realized if you want to beat Hillary Clinton, or if you want to beat Bernie Sanders if he ends up pulling it off, the best way to do that, nominate Marco Rubio as a Republican nominee, and he'll unite this party.
What do you think this means for the other candidates who finished poorly on sort of the mainstream Republican side? You know, Jeb Bush, Chris Christie, John Kasich, and the others.
Well, obviously they have to win in New Hampshire. I mean, if those candidates don't win in New Hampshire, they have no pathway forward. There is no way that they're going to be the Republican nominees. So, you know, obviously, good night for Marco Rubio, good night for Ted Cruz, so-so night, I guess, for Donald Trump. Not a very good night for those other candidates. I think some of them will have some decisions to make if they don't win in New Hampshire. We feel really good about New Hampshire. It's going to be
where do you think Marco Rubio needs to land?
We definitely want to be in the top tier. I mean, it's a three-person race right now, so we wanted to try to keep it that way. If we can finish up in the top tier in New Hampshire, as I said, we feel really good about South Carolina. We have Trey Gowdy, the congressman in South Carolina, supporting us. Going to have some big announcements coming soon out of South Carolina and some of the other states. I think you're going to start to see the party coalesce around Marco Rubio now that it's clear that it's a three-person race.
Alex, thank you very much.
Thank you, Megan.